Welcome to the Dirt World Podcast. I'm Jason Richmond, a fourth-generation road builder that started on a shovel and now serves as the Chief Operating Officer at BuildWit. This is the Ariat Dirt World Summit Series, where we will dig into the construction world, exploring the challenges, successes, and strategies that shape exceptional leadership and builds a thriving workforce in the dirt world. Join us as we sit down with some of the brightest minds and trailblazers in the construction industry. Our guests are leaders who have navigated the trenches, built businesses, cultivated strong teams, and fostered innovation to build the infrastructure that shapes our world. From technology, equipment, suppliers, and contractors, their experiences and insights will inspire and empower professionals at every level. I'm excited to introduce Darrin Moore, the forward-thinking owner and creative director of Ideon Gear. Darrin reimagines traditional company apparel at the intersection of creativity and corporate identity, elevating brand recognition and fostering company culture through impactful merchandise. His role spans conceptualizing engaging designs, staying abreast of emerging trends, optimizing supply chains, and championing innovative partnerships. Consistently pushing the envelope, Darrin spearheading efforts in web development, paved the way for a modern, intuitive approach to managing corporate swag. Darrin, welcome to the Dirt World Podcast.
Hey, thanks. I'm actually at home right now, so in Woodland, Washington.
Fantastic. Well, how did you hear about the Dirt World Summit?
I saw it on social media, so one of your guys, Benjamin, had posted something online, and as I dug into it, it was just like, wow, this seems like a great fit. So
That's fantastic. Well, I am super excited to have you on as a guest today. Just to give you a format for today, we're going to dig into a little bit about your personal story. We're going to cover a little bit on your business. We'll hit some leadership topics. We'll talk about workforce development, and then we'll wrap it up with the Ariat Dirt World Summit. So if you don't mind, give me a little background on you. Give me your personal story and how you got into the dirt world.
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a windy path, but uh, I started out in teaching actually, and I taught for 6 years at a community college, at the community college level, and then that path was just not working out for what I needed to do for my family, and I ended up finding opportunity in the trades while starting a brand development, marketing, design firm. So I was doing that kind of on the side, and then there's just so much opportunity in the trades that while I was doing that, I was like, wow, this is just a great industry to be a part of and helping grow and helping do cool things. So that's kind of how I ended up kind of tied to the trades. And then through that, came across some guys that wanted to start this apparel company. They had a plumbing HVAC company that they were trying to do better with apparel and make their people feel like they're part of something cool, and also make it easier because it was kind of a pain to distribute it to their employees in a way that made sense. And so that's how Ideon was born, and I jumped on board to help sort of get that launched and get it rolling. So
That's fantastic. So talk to me a little bit more about Ideon Gear and their background and history, when it was started and how you got involved with it.
sure. So it was started in 2018, and I got involved with it in the very beginning as one of the people founding it, launching it, and then trying to make it better. So, and then just in the last couple of years, me and a business partner bought it out and took it over 100%, and we've been just trying to figure out how to keep innovating as much as possible in the workwear and like swag area for companies, especially in blue collar jobs and like construction, manufacturing, dirt. So,
Yeah, people in the dirt world love their hats, hoodies, and
oh
sweatshirts.
yeah, dude, they love it, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's amazing how much a good hat can can build rapport with someone. Like it just feels so good when you got the right fit. Oh,
Absolutely.
100%.
So, what makes you different from every other swag provider that's out there?
I think let's see here. What makes us different is one, we got a laser focus on the construction industry and like that type of work. Like we come from that background. We've done it. We've been out in the field and we get it when it comes to the functionality that you need in order to do your job well, and how the right apparel can help facilitate that. It can make your job easier. It can make you more efficient. It can just keep you more comfortable while you're doing that job. But also, I feel like we have such a huge focus on helping companies build a sense of culture through apparel. It's more than just like, oh, like, can you print me some t-shirts, right? For us, we want to know who our customers are. We want to know what their employees care about, what they get excited about, and then from there we can help find the right pieces of clothing. We can help come up with the best designs that make their employees excited to be a part of whatever they're building. And so I think that's the hugest difference is we get it. We get the energy, we get what they're trying to do, and we can, and we're not just like making apparel and like and just for the sake of making cool apparel. It's like, how can we make it easier on the admin and more exciting for the employees?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about it from my ops standpoint, and there's times where it feels like an expense. But what I just heard you say is it's an investment in your people, it's an investment in your brand, it's an investment in your culture. And, when we talk about brand, it's what people remember when the marketing stops. And so, when you're thinking about, building your culture, having that hat, that t-shirt, that sweatshirt, the old saying goes, look good, feel good, play good. There's a sense of pride. And that's one thing that we love about the construction industry is, there's a sense of pride in the work. And so it sounds like what I'm hearing you at Ideon Gear, that you have a sense of pride in the gear that you're creating for other people. And that helps drive brand and culture.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, we've had people working for us that have been in the apparel industry for, decades, and they're blown away by how much we actually live the quality of standard that we expect from ourselves. It's one thing to like that was one of the coolest things that I've seen is like, so it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, we care about quality, like we're all about quality, but to see it, the impact it has on people who have been doing this their whole life and printing their whole life and making apparel their whole life, to be like, you guys are crazy. You're the standard that you're holding, it's just like, this is incredible. Like, you mean it. And like, yeah, absolutely, we mean it. We can't. We have a saying at Ideon is resist mediocrity. We can't resist mediocrity without having that level of standard. Like, and it's even kind of like, if we're up against a tough project, right? And we're running into technical issues, whatever it is, right? And that actually comes up. It's kind of funny. Some of the team members will be like, "Hey, are you resisting mediocrity? Don't give in, right? Like you gotta live it every single day." I have it stained into the concrete as you walk into the production area in the back of the shop. So it's like, yeah, it's ingrained in us, and we want to make it real every single day.
Yeah, that's interesting. So many nuggets that you're dropping there. But one thing that stood out is, you talked about timelines, and it always cracks me up because we tend to procrastinate in the construction industry with ordering apparel and gear. It's like, hey, we want to do a Christmas gift, or hey, we've got this annual meeting, or hey, we're doing a kickoff. And we've known that we're going to do this for months, but they
Oh
call you at the
yeah.
last minute, and then it's a rush order. And
It's
so,
just so true.
talk So talk to me about the process of, what it's like to truly be in a partnership with with a company where you're sitting down with them, you're talking about their goals and objectives as a business, you're talking about their events for the year, you're talking about their needs, and what is ideal for a good partnership in terms of the process of working with you.
Oh yeah, I think it's interesting what you're talking about the procrastination because as someone who's on the other end and a partner on that side, I feel like it's our responsibility to be proactive, right? So you guys it, have so much going on. There's like multiple projects at the same time and your own timelines, and yeah, this picnic is coming up, but it's just sometimes it's difficult to keep track of those items that aren't directly project related. And so in my mind, it's like, how can we be proactive in our communication to keep on your radar? What are ways that we can um, expedite that process by sending short lists of maybe gear suggestions, or giving heads up like, hey, Christmas is around the corner in August. We start saying that. In August, we
Mhm.
start saying, hey, Christmas is around the corner. We should start scheduling when you want us to produce your gear for your party or your event. And
Absolutely.
when we start implementing that, the value for our customers is huge. There's so much less stress, so much less anxiety, so much more time to do it right. That and it benefited us too, of course, because now we can more easily build this schedule where we have the time to take with like finding all those right products, getting the designs right, putting it on the schedule so that it's like it's ready for you weeks in advance before your event. Like all those things matter to get it right. And so um to me that's that's one of the best ways that we can partner is like doing those things, but also like you want if you want to do apparel right, if you want to be an industry leader in that and like attract good employees and retain good employees, right? We're in it every single day looking at new products, finding new brands and getting excited about it so that they don't have to spend the time doing that, right? We're just like, hey, check this out. And I do that all the time. Like, I know a customer in the back of my mind, like, oh, dude, they would love this shirt. I got to get this over
Yeah.
to them, right? And and then they get stoked and they're like, yeah, let's order like 100 of those things, right? It's like, and they didn't have to do any work. It's just like, yes, it just shows up on their doorstep as this great idea.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I can imagine that your access to apparel and merchandise brands is pretty vast, whether it's Ariat Workwear or whether it's Nike or OGIO or you name it. I'm sure that you've got some pretty extensive relationships and access to a lot of different brands. How do you go about choosing the right brand and working with the right choosing the right items for an organization as they're going through the process?
The biggest thing is really listening and tuning in to their identity and asking questions about their industry if we're not already familiar with the type of work that they do, right? That that listening and paying attention is the most important thing we can do. Because you're right, the spectrum of what you can get is almost endless. It's overwhelming. Like if someone's like, "Hey, do you got a catalog?" and I send them the full like all of the catalogs of everything we can get, they're like completely overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, if we can have that conversation, if we can kind of like sit down and talk about apparel, talk about their company, talk about what's important to their people, um, it makes it way easier to be like, okay, I got a list of stuff that we I think you're gonna love, and then also like send me what is already working for you, right? Let's start there too. Like what's already working for you, and let's build on that, and just keep improving it and making it better all the time.
Yeah. No, that's great. So it's really understanding who they are and potentially who they want to be. So what is that aspirational vision of, what do they want that brand to represent? Are they a joker? Are they a magician? There's 12 different archetypes. What are they, how do they want to position themselves? And so do they have fun jokester things on their swag, or are they being really serious and it's just, logo left chest for the corporate meeting? So I'm sure that you've got everything in between.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are some that want to be more playful with it and also have like brand flexibility. And then there's some that are like super straightforward and it's very much about professionalism and consistency and like more of a solid corporate identity. And I think you can do both really well and still get employees excited about it and feeling like, okay, this company really cares.
Just to double back, so somebody is listening to this podcast, they're a contractor, they hear this, they hear you talk, and they're like, man, I really want to get a hold of Darrin. I think that we need to, do something better with our program. I assume that they go to your website, ideongear.com, they check you out. There's a phone number, there's an email address, there's a contact us. Walk them through like what those next steps are going to look like as they try to do business with you.
Sure. So next steps are like they can get a hold of us by email or call, like you're saying. There's also a form you can fill out to kind of like lay out what your situation is, what you're trying to do. We have an online catalog that you can start with the gear if you want to go that route. But I think it is really important to kind of sort of start with that initial communication for us to figure out who you are as a company and to get the best results. And so having them contact us and start that conversation and then figuring out like, okay, so what types of stuff are you looking for? Do you want ideas? Do you know what you already want? Can we, what's available? What can we get? How can we make that happen? What designs are going to pair up nicely with that? And then putting together a nice package. Whether they're going to do a bulk order, or we also have a store system that's super helpful for our customers to deal with apparel where they don't have a bunch of boxes sitting around with stuff that people don't want or doesn't fit them, weird sizes, whatever. Instead, they can we can go down that route as well, where we figure out what gear they need, figure out the designs, and then build an employee store where it's super easy for their employees to go on there and use company credits to get their gear, get the stuff that they want, get it in their size, and the administrative side of it for the company is way less, and also you have so much less waste in your clothing dollars because it's what they want. It's directly what they want. So
Yeah, that sounds incredible. So, timeline of working with a client, are we talking 6 months to get it up and running or a month? Are we somewhere in the middle? I'm not sure. Like, if somebody wanted to really put something together, want to make sure that they're proactively getting a hold of you and putting that in place.
yeah, I think like especially with that store system, I think to do it right, you do want about a month to get all that to get all the details correct and have the time to put together a store that makes sense for your company.
Sounds
Um,
great.
yeah, so for sure, um, if it's just like a straight up order, it's usually you probably still want at least a couple weeks to figure it out. So
Yeah, really good. Well, hey, next we're going to transition into talking a little bit about leadership and workforce development. So, just a quick question, just your opinion, your thoughts, and ideas around, what qualities do you think make a great leader?
I think a great leader listens. Um, I think a great leader really listens to whoever they're trying to lead. Um, and also, I think a great leader should stay humble,
Oh,
right?
that's
Like
good.
don't try and put yourself above other people. Don't try and feel like you're the most important piece in the organization, right? Like you're there to support, you're there to listen, you're there to figure out like how can you create a clear vision that aligns with what they care about, what they need, and move everyone in the same direction in a way that everyone's motivated and feels good about it and wants to be there and has the drive to do it. So
Absolutely. No, that's absolutely incredible. So just out of curiosity, when I say the word leader, is there someone that pops in your head that you're just like, man, this person made a significant positive impact on me or on my career? And if so, what is it about that person that inspired you as a leader?
I mean, maybe this is gonna be a little cliche, but I would say my dad for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's I grew up watching him. He was in retail as a store manager. And I grew up watching him give people opportunities all the time. Even people that were like, maybe others were like, nah, I'm not gonna deal with that. Right. It's just like it's just too much baggage or whatever it was. He would give people chances all the time and consistently had people come back later on in their life and be like, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity. Like it changed my life. And I mean, we're talking like a small little pharmacy hardware store in the town of Woodland, right? Like it's not like it's not like this huge amazing thing but it changed their lives because he believed in them, right? He believed in
Mm,
giving them a chance. And to me, and he never was the type of boss that would be like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, right? People just wanted to work for him. They wanted to work with him because he treated them right. So
that's good. You make me think about my dad. That's how I got into the construction industry. He was a general superintendent. My first job was on a grade crew, working for my dad. And so, getting up every day into the grind, working, you bring up a lot of really good memories as you talk about your dad. That's cool. Okay, so the world's tough out there right now. What are some of the most critical challenges that you see leaders facing today, and how should they address them?
man.
Tough questions, I know. Sorry
Yeah,
about
that's a
that,
tough one.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the
Oh,
things that let me add a little context there. So one of the things that we're struggling with in the construction industry specifically is workforce.
yeah,
And, it's really how do we attract people into the industry? How do we onboard them? How do we train them? How do we retain them?
yeah,
And so it's a big challenge. The numbers are real. We need 560,000 new people coming into the industry. And it's really all about people. How do you care for your people? How do you take care of them? Emotional intelligence, really being able to check in on the whole self, on a whole person, with their mental and physical and what's going on at home and work. And too often it's like the work relationship is really about what are you doing for me at work. And in today's world it feels like we really need to think about the whole person, personal and professional. And so you're a leader, you're running Ideon gear, you're serving people in the construction industry, with those challenges that we're facing. Just any thoughts that you might have around that?
yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest things that that we're trying to help do and trying to help lead in the industry, and as far as from the apparel side, is how do you make people feel like they're a part of something uh, bigger than themselves, right? How do you make them feel like they're part of this team, this organization, and doing something really awesome? And how do you make them feel appreciated for what they're doing? That what they're doing is important, it has value, and like, and I think one of the biggest things is like I think most of us do, right? But if you don't communicate it, it falls through the cracks. If you don't take the time to communicate it in some way, if you don't have some different channels to to like communicate that to the employees, then even any size organization, it's like it can fall through the cracks. I think even sometimes
Yeah,
smaller business,
100%.
family businesses, they think that like, oh, I got like 5 employees, 10 employees, 20 employees. Like we talk all the time. I know they think they know that I appreciate them. That's not always true. That's not always true. And if you don't let them know, if you don't set up those channels, and also like even like the apparel side, like if you don't take the time to do it right and like to really show them that how much you appreciate what they're doing and that their job has so much value for you and your in your whole organization, then they're in their own head wondering or doubting or whatever it is, but now it's like feedback, it's noise, right? There's in their own head thinking like, "Wow, I think I did a good job, but I'm not really sure if I did a good job. I think that they like what I'm doing here, but I'm not really sure." And I've done enough employee reviews, even before Ideon. I was doing employee reviews for a plumbing company, and it's like you have to let them know, and you have to have those deliberate conversations. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they end up with the head junk.
100%. So recognition is a powerful leadership tool when it's genuine and authentic, and you're recognizing, that behavior, because what it does is it sends a message not only to that person, but to the organization. Wow, that behavior is being recognized. I want to be a part of that, and so it starts to have that compounding impact on your culture and your organization. I think something that you're mentioning is really powerful. You're talking about the power of communication, and there's so many ways to do that. One on one, you can do it via email. You can do it via company event. You can record a video and send it to your organization or send it to your teams. Super powerful in terms of communication. What are some of the things that as we think about attracting the next generation and these organizations that have apparel, do you think that they should be capturing photography, videography, storytelling of getting the merchandise, wearing the merchandise, the company events, the recognition ceremonies, the awards, so that they could use that on their social media to show their brand, to show their culture, to show what it's like to be a part of that organization? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any way that you can tell that story and show that story is beneficial. Um, it creates an energy behind the company. It humanizes the company, and hopefully attracts the right people to come want to be a part of it. So it's 100% all those things that you're saying, like showing the world like, hey, look at this. This is what we're doing. We love doing it. Look at how awesome this organization is. Highlighting the people that are involved and what they're bringing to the table. So yeah, it's I
That's
think yeah,
good.
it's all
So
that's really good.
one thing I think about from a workforce development standpoint, so we've showed what a great organization is. Now we're onboarding them, and during that onboarding experience, that first day, on the job, I can only imagine that giving them some type of a kit, would be absolutely an incredible experience for a new employee. Is that something that you've worked with clients before on, is, on an onboarding kit where they're getting, a welcome package, with gear, branded gear, to kind of welcome them to the organization and kind of set the tone for their new role?
Yeah, we have done that with some companies actually. We call it a swag box, and it's a I think it's a really good way for them to feel like they're immediately part of the team, that they're joining something special, and that it's this deliberate, like, yeah, come on board, come be a part of us, right? And I think that the psychology behind it, the physicality of it, like just having the branded box and opening it up and seeing the goods, like that moment is actually why we're in business. Like when people are opening up their swag box and they're just like, dude, this is sweet. That we live for that. We live for that. And I love when I see it on social media when people are posting like that box opening moment. It's like, yes, we killed it. I love it.
That's cool. Okay, kind of just a weird random question, probably a guesstimate on your part. Of all of the items that you produce for, we'll say, construction companies, when it comes to this, whether it's hats, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever, like what's the most popular? I'm just kind of curious. Is it a hat? Is it a hoodie? Is it a t-shirt? Is it a backpack? Is it a coffee mug? I mean, there's a million items that are out there, but I'm just kind of curious, like what's the most requested?
Hats are a huge deal for sure. I mean, I guess like probably for hats, like the 7 panel trucker style hat. Oh, if you can get the right color and the right combo with a patch, right? They love it. Um, another one would be the New Era makes a French Terry hoodie that is just, it's bulletproof. It's so incredible. Like I actually, this house that I'm in right now, I built it myself, and I wore one of those newer hoodies the whole time. I've had it for like 4 or 5 years, and it still looks good. It's crazy. It still looks good, still fits good. We actually compared it to a brand new one, the same size, and there was like almost no change in the fit or anything. Like I just can't believe. I don't know what they do to these hoodies, but they're awesome. So they're super popular.
That's great. That's great. Is there a size company too big or too small, or are you pretty much open to working with just about anybody?
We work with just about anybody. Yeah, like yeah, we have
Cool.
people with just themselves all the way up to hundreds of employees. Yeah, it's
That's great. That's good
it
to
doesn't
know.
really
All
matter
right.
for us.
Let's talk about the Ariat Dirt World Summit for a minute.
Sure.
I mean, it is an incredible lineup. I know I'm part of it, so I'm a little biased, but day one, we've got the Dirt World Open as an option and then several workshops. Day two, we have Jocko Willink and Echelon Front and his entire team coming to do a mini muster. Day three, we've got incredible speaker lineup, focused on attracting, hiring, training, and retaining great employees with, a vast number of speakers and panelists that are going to be a part of it. What are you most excited about, when it comes to attending and participating? And it can be either listening or connecting or whatever. Just kind of curious, like, what is it that you're excited about?
Yeah. What I'm excited about, and what got me most excited about even to be a part of this, was to be in a space where you have all these people who are kind of have the same mindset towards making the dirt world better, right? Making a better culture, a better company for their employees, and and attracting new employees. And to me, it's like that's what we're all about. And so to be in that space with with people with the same mindset and to learn from them and have them be excited about it, right? That all those things, like yeah, we got to be there. And knowing that Dirt World is like for like how come this space of innovation, like we never get tired of innovating. We never get tired of trying to find better products, to try and build better apparel systems for people. So to like to be there with other people who are trying to be innovative, trying to be leaders, like that's 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 why we're like, yep, that's the right fit. It sounds great.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fantastic. So you'll be there all 3 days.
Oh yeah.
I I assume that you're going to be working a booth.
Oh yeah, yep, that's right.
and people are going to be able to stop by and come see you. What's a little sneak peek to kind of the action that they can expect if they're going to stop by and see a branded merch person? Kind of curious if you want to tip the scale on maybe what they can expect to see to get them a little excited.
I think they're going to see apparel that they haven't really seen before. Options that they maybe didn't think about before, brands that maybe they haven't realized were out there. They're going to see imprinting that they haven't thought about before. So I think that the apparel and the design and imprinting, like both, there's going to be things that they're going to see there that are outside of what they normally see when it comes to gear. And they're going to love it.
That's great.
I hope they love it.
That's great. We're putting together a little toolkit for everybody that comes to the summit. And when they walk away, they're going to have some deliverables. If I can remember correctly, you're thinking about putting something in the toolkit where people can go to ideongear.com or something of that nature, where using a QR code where, people can be a part of that. You want to tip the scales as far as what they can expect with that?
Yeah. So we're building an apparel store similar to what we do for all of our customers, that they can go on there and pick the item that they want, right? That's what it's all about for us, is like helping people find the solutions, the apparel that fits who they are, fits their style, fits their culture, right? Fits their needs. That, to me, that's the best thing that we can give, is that experience. And then, hey, check this item out. There's going to be options, and it's, that's what we're
really
all about. Cool. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Darrin, I just want to say, thank you for joining us on the Dirt World podcast. We're grateful for you and Ideon Gear's sponsorship for the first annual Area Dirt World Summit in Houston this October. You can visit dirtworld.com to learn more about the summit, or Ideon Gear to get your branded merchandise. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable business, leadership, and workforce development insights. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep leading in the dirt world, building leaders, projects, and communities. Darrin, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.